what are 10 entrepreneurial skills? Learn the essential skills for anyone in business. Entrepreneurs have to be learning all the time, practicing curiosity, because there's so much we don't know. The first skill we need to know is how to manage our money, which can feel really intimidating, especially for those who never really mastered how to manage your personal finances. How are we going to manage our business finances? And you might be tempted to outsource this. Please don't do that, especially in the beginning of your business. You've got to learn how money comes in and out and all the difference between credit and debit. And there are lots of free resources for you. You can even go to your bank and there are going to be webinars to teach you the basics of this. And it is possible. I remember a friend who, she didn't know the difference between a credit card and a debit card when withdrawing money. And so she'd withdraw cash with her credit card, paying super high interest bills. And now she's a total boss with her money. The second skill is to learn how to read spreadsheets. Now, business is about money, and money is tracked in spreadsheets. So you've got to be able to at least read the spreadsheets. You don't need to be a total expert and learn all the pivot tables and VLOOKUP and stuff, but you need to at least be able to read and do basic formulas and calculations. And again, there are lots of free resources to help you, handhold you through this if you need some personal help. So for example, SCORE, which is a nonprofit of retired business executives, they do lots of coaching here. Now, there is also the third skill is to listen to understand. As an entrepreneur, you've got to be able to listen to your clients, to your employees, to your partners. Listen to their needs, their concerns, their hopes, their dreams. Listen to understand them. The fourth is to ask questions, even when you think you know the answer already. Now, asking questions isn't always about trying to find the answer. It's about actually also seeking understanding. So for example, you could talk to someone who you think, oh, I think that this person wants to buy a small car. You find out, yes, it's true. She wants to buy a small car. And you might be thinking, well, she wants to buy a small car to save money on gas, because that's why I would want to buy a small car. And in asking, I find out, no, she actually wants to buy a small car because she lives in downtown and parking is a hassle, and she wants to be able to have a small car to more easily park. So you may be able to guess the what, but you don't actually know the why until you ask a question. The fifth skill is to connect the dots. That is to be strategic. So when you're connecting the dots, it's a lot easier when you do that, the third skill of listen to understand and the fourth skill to ask questions, because you're just going to be able to retrieve so much more information. I remember when I was running my family's Vietnamese language newspaper, and I talked to a lot of my colleagues in ethnic media, and they were really struggling, and they just didn't know how to get advertising money. They didn't know who to turn to. And then I ended up talking to a lot of mainstream companies and organizations who really want to reach out to our communities, and they just didn't know how to do so. And so I was able to connect the dots there. When you get a lot of different information, you are able to connect disparate ideas and partners. Now, the sixth skill is share your story. Share your why. Now, this can be really hard because it might feel hard to brag about yourself or talk about yourself. And yet, what I find in business is that it's super important to be able to do this, because people are also curious. Also, a lot of people, they want to start businesses and yet they don't have the courage to. And so when you share your story, you are actually inviting them to live vicariously through you. And then they are so much more likely to support you, to endorse you, because they will be inspired by you. So for example, for me, the reason why I started my business is because I left the best job I ever had, actually. And the only reason why I did that was because I wanted to own my work. I wanted to write under my name, to own my content, and to have freedom. And this is also linked to my identity as a Vietnamese refugee, because my family fled Vietnam in pursuit of freedom. So that freedom is super important to me. The seventh skill is to share your expertise. Share what you know with the world. Now, you might hesitate to do this because you think, oh, well, what I know isn't that special. It is. If you started a business, it's because you think that you know something that other people don't, that they are willing to pay you for that. Now, you might also think, well, if I share my expertise, then other people are going to know my secrets and they're going to do it themselves. Now, that may happen. In some cases, that could be the case. In most cases, though, people just want to know that you know what you're doing, and they want you to explain. So, for example, I'm going through house renovations right now, and as the contractor is explaining the different ways that they will paint the deck and fix the door, I don't want to do that myself. I want to pay them to do it. I just want to know that they know what they're doing. So get comfortable with sharing your expertise. The 8th skill, this one is so hard. This is ask for business. Ask for business. You have got to try to make sales, get revenue. That's part of a business. Now, it can be really hard and pride-crushing to do that, and yet it's so essential. I usually give myself a little pep talk and a little reminder, hey, Julie, you're going to this conversation. Don't forget to ask at the end to make that suggestion, hey, if you know anyone who ever needs my services, or if you think that you'll ever need my services, please do let me know. I've got to make the ask. I find that some people think that if you don't ask, your business is going so well, you don't need business, or you don't want to talk about it. And so that's why it's important to make the ask, to plant the seed. The 9th skill is to outsource or to delegate some of your work. Now, as entrepreneurs, we have so much work to do. And there are going to be some things that come easily to us because they bring us joy, because they're energy giving. And then there are going to be other things that are total energy draining. Even if we can do it, it's really hard for us to do, or it's just not a good use of our time. For me, I started my business so that I could write, so that I could create these learning experiences, so that I could facilitate conversations. Not so that I can do tax preparation. That is definitely something that I outsource. Or project management, which is why I have a dedicated project manager on my team. The 10th skill is to repress your inner critic. Now, this is about differentiating between your gut when it's telling you, hey, red flag, don't do this, and your inner critic that says you're not good enough to do this. So you have to be able to differentiate between the two, and to, when you hear your inner critic, to say, hey, I hear you, but right now I'm not going to let you talk because I need to get this work done. If you found this video useful, please do click like, share it with people, and subscribe to this channel. Also, go to curiositybase.com to find out other ways that we can help you practice curiosity to elevate your life and work.